Hi friends, this is Katherine Burik with the Interview Doctor, here with a question I receive all the time. This is probably the number one question that I get. Here it is. My job search seems to be stalled. What am I doing wrong? Wow, that is an absolutely wide open question. Job search can be stalled for any number of reasons, hundreds of reasons perhaps. One of the things that people neglect to consider, I think, is that job search is a project. It is a project without an end date. So if you've ever completed any kind of project in your home or at work, you know that you start with a goal. Okay, your goal is to paint the garage. You have many steps that must happen prior to painting the garage, prior to finishing that project. You know what your end date is, you know what your end goal is, and then you divide it into the projects. You purchase the paint, you plan the colors, you purchase the paint, you enlist some volunteers, you gather scaffolding, you do the scraping, all of those elements. Job search is similarly such a project. The only difference is it doesn't have an end date. You cannot predict, you do not know when you're going to get your job. It just happens. There's an element of kismet. So, but you must follow through on all of the steps all of the time in order to keep the process and the project moving. So you identify your job search materials. That's like getting the paint. You identify your target market. That's by understanding what your end goal is. And then you go through a process every day, every week of moving towards that goal. Then through a combination of hard work, smart focus, and a little bit of kismet and luck, you will achieve what it is that you want, which is a job. If you don't do all of those steps all of the time, your project, your job search process will be stalled. That's what happens. And so in order to understand what specifically is going on in your job search, we need to dig a little bit deeper. We need to dig a lot deeper. I need to have a lot more information before I can be helpful. There are a couple tools, a couple things that I recommend right now. First of all, I recommend that you take the Interview Doctor's quiz to understand how and what aspects of your job search need to be addressed. The link should be below in the comment section. Then the second thing is to participate in our upcoming webinar. This is free, Busting 7 Myths About Job Search. I suspect with most people that I speak to, you're going to find 1 or 2 or 7 of these myths to be appropriate to your job search, especially to a stalled job search. So sign up for that. The link ought to be also below. I'd love to see you and talk with you in that webinar and understand what your particular journey is all about. This is Katherine Burik standing by. Come back to you with some more questions that we get from our listeners.